got the murdered and you got the murderer. Inevitable. 42 arrests. And this man is still allowed to roam the streets. And then you got the other one. Best of everything. Well-educated, terrific, good parents. And look what happens.
I walk in redemption.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Sit Down with Michael Franzese. Hope everybody's doing well. All is very good, extremely blessed on this end. And as always, we give all the praise, honor, glory, and thanksgiving to our God for that. And it's almost Merry Christmas time. Got a short time left before we're celebrating, but we're celebrating already. You know, we're Christmas shopping, we're having dinners, we're doing parties, we're doing a whole bit. So hopefully all of you are out there enjoying it as best as you can. Before we get into today's subject, I really want to take a minute to thank all of you, and please understand where I'm coming from. I literally get hundreds of messages, many of them well wishes, across all my platforms. You know, X and Instagram and YouTube and Rumble and every place that you can imagine, Facebook. And I just can't get to all of them. But I want to just give a blanket, thank you to everybody for all the well wishes for Christmas time, for me, for my family. Know that I really appreciate it. I do try to jump on there and answer some of them. But then I say, well, if I answer one, I don't answer the other. People are going to be offended. I literally get hundreds, so it's impossible for me to get to all of them, but do know that I appreciate them very much. I appreciate all of you supporting this channel. We have really grown in leaps and bounds in the last couple of months, especially for some reason. I thank you all for that, all the support, and I really mean it, because we wouldn't be here without you. Cameo, Minect, there are two platforms where I can wish somebody a Merry Christmas. I'm getting a lot of requests for that now. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas, happy graduation. Hey, how are you? Anything, We do that on Cameo. On Minect, it's a great platform created by Patrick Bet-David and his team. We do personal phone calls, we do text messages, we do all of that. And if you want some personal message from me, you can do it on either one of those platforms. Oh, by the way, the canvas is available and the link to buy it is there now. We are running a Christmas special before the holiday. I think it ends on the 30th of December. But you can get this as a gift. They're beautiful. I got to tell you, they're beautiful. We're going to probably put up an ad because people wanted to see, how the canvas looks on a stand, on an easel. So we're going to do that. But you can buy it at a discount right now. We did stop selling that for a while, but it's back up there now. Takes a while to produce these things, but I got a great partner, very talented, and my friend Bowden Him. And we got it revved up again. So that's it for the announcements. A lot going on with Daniel Penny and, his acquittal for the chokehold death of Jordan Neely on the subway. I think we're all in tune with that. It's been all over the news. He got acquitted a few days back. There was originally a hung jury on a manslaughter charge. And then the judge dismissed that because the jury couldn't come to a verdict on it. And there was a lesser charge of negligence in some way. And within a few hours, they went back, deliberated that, and they acquitted him. So he's been acquitted of all charges. Look, we got to talk about that for a minute, but I also want to get to the CEO from United Healthcare, Brian Thompson, that was murdered by this fellow Mangione, this 26-year-old kid that comes from a very affluent family in Baltimore, real estate moguls, very well-liked family, and very affluent. This young man was very well educated, went to the University of Pennsylvania, had all sorts of degrees, grew up with the best of everything in life, and yet committed this murder. And a lot of information is going to come out about it. He practically admitted it with the evidence that they found in his backpack and, all the clues that he left behind. Originally, people were saying that this was a planned hit, by a hitman, and I knew immediately it wasn't, just from seeing the first photo that they had from him, the shells being left on the ground with words printed on them. I mean, this was not a professional hit at all. And I think as the clues and evidence came out, we saw that. But I called it immediately, and understand I was on the street for 20 years, so it was just poorly planned, but very, very, very sad. But let me get into Daniel Penny first. My friends, during my time on the street, I met a lot of sophisticated criminals. I met a lot of scammers. As a matter of fact, those of you that know my background, you can probably put me in that category, and you'd be correct. But there's a scam going on now that's really sophisticated, and it's really kind of frightening if you own a home. And did you know that American homeowners nationwide, that's all over the country, they have over $32 trillion in equity? That's a lot of value. That's a big asset. And today, there are sophisticated criminals. They're called cyber criminals, and they're targeting the equity in your house. It's a growing scam. The FBI is calling it house stealing. I never heard of that on the street. I heard of burglary, I heard of break-ins, I never heard of house stealing. But this is what it's all about. And house alarms, doorbell cameras, deadbolts, they don't work against these thieves because they're not after your stuff. They don't care what you have in the house. They're not looking to rob you. They're after your home's equity. And if your title isn't being constantly monitored, these scammers can actually transfer the title of your home into their own name. Yes, they can do that. And they use a simple one-page document that they file at the county clerk's office. And then after they have the title in their name, they go out and take loans against your house. They use your house as collateral for their loans. Of course, they don't pay the loans back. They don't have to. And you know what's even worse? They can even sell the property behind your back. And you don't know any of this is going on until what happens? You get a notice in the mailbox. They start arriving in your mailbox. By then, damage has been done. You're left with a financial and a legal nightmare. And you know what? The banks are not going to help you. They have your house as collateral. They want to collect their money. That's it. And if you sell the property, the people that are buying it from you, you're going to have a headache. It's going to be a legal nightmare. So what do? I'm going to give you the advice. The best way to protect yourself and protect your equity is with triple lock protection from my friend at Home Title Lock. Now, triple lock protection is a 24/7 monitoring of your title. They alert you if there's any changes in the title, and God forbid, if the worst thing happens and something goes down with your house with a loan, or God forbid they try to sell it, they'll restore your services at no out-of-pocket cost to you. How can you beat that? So let me ask you this. When was the last time you checked on your title? If you're like me, the answer is probably never. I don't remember checking on my title. Why would you? Unless you're taking out a loan or you're going to sell a house. You don't do that. And that's exactly what these scammers are counting on. They figure you're not going to look at your title. They have all this time to do all of this work, and you're not even going to know about it. So here's what you got to do. You can protect your home title today and make sure you're not already a victim. You can get a free title history report, a 30-day free trial of triple lock protection today. All you need to do is go to HometitleLock.com and use my promo code MF30, or you can click on the link in the description. Once again, that's HometitleLock.com, promo code MF30. People, you own a house, you got to protect your equity. It's for you, it's for your family. You can't afford to wait. So do that today. And my friends, if I ever gave you an offer you shouldn't refuse, this is one of them. Jordan Neely, look, nobody wanted the guy to die. I mean, we understand that. He's a sad situation also. The man had 42 prior arrests, 42 prior arrests, 4 of them for violent crimes committed on the subways. I mean, he hit one 67-year-old woman and broke her nose. He's had 4 attacks on the subways. So here he is again in the subway, probably either intoxicated or on some kind of drug. He was homeless, I understand, and he's threatening people. And 9 of 11 witnesses that testified at the trial said they were afraid for their life. Whatever motions he was making, he was a scary individual to many women and to many people in that subway train. And remember, you're in a subway train. You're practically boxed in. Yeah, you can try to get up and go to one car, but people are afraid to get up when they see somebody acting wild and making threats. So now you have this ex-Marine, a veteran, Daniel Penny, restrains the guy, along with 2 other guys, 3 of them restrained. Daniel Penny was a former Marine. He knew how to do a chokehold, so he's holding him down in a chokehold while they called 911 or whatever to get the police there. The other 2 were restraining him, from what I understand. The facts of the case. Well, from what I understand, the evidence came out that Jordan Neely had him in the chokehold and then would let go. Had him in the chokehold, let go. This went on for about 6 minutes. until the police got there and were able to take him away. But he died as a result. I understand he had drugs in his system. We understand he had mental health issues. Very sad story. I understand Jordan Neely's mother, she was estranged from his father, divorced or whatever, not around. And her boyfriend actually murdered her several years back when he was a youngster. Took the mom and stuffed her into a suitcase to get rid of the body. And he either witnessed this or knew this. And this put him on a downhill slide. Understandable. That's what happened. Mental illness, yeah. As a result of that, emotionally wasn't stable. I get it. But 42 arrests, homelessness. Who's responsible for this young man? Who's responsible for him? Is the state responsible for him? Is it our job to get him the help that he needs? I think as a Christian, I would say if we could help him, yes, we should, obviously. But where was his father? Now, the reason I ask this, because after the verdict came down and he was acquitted on all charges, outside Black Lives Matter and a number of people were demonstrating, protesting the verdict. Said it was murder and he should be held accountable. As a matter of fact, the leader or the whatever of Black Lives Matters in New York actually threatened him. Daniel Penny, you're not welcome here in New York. We're going to be watching you. We're going to be coming from you. He said this publicly. Nothing happened to him, but he's threatening the guy after the jury's verdict. This was the jury. Right or wrong, this is what it was. You accept it or you don't accept it. Appeal it. Do whatever you got to do. And then his father gets up there, Jordan Neely's father, who's now saying, hey, my son had mental illness. Okay, where have you been? Where have you been in your son's life? Why didn't you take care of your son's mental illness? Why didn't you make sure he got help? Why didn't you take care of him? Why does it become a problem for the state? Well, it is a problem if he's going out killing people. You arrested him 42 times, and then you let him go with nothing. He's still out on the street. 42 arrests. And this man is still allowed to roam the streets. And now his father, who from what I understand was upset with him because Jordan Neely at one time did a Michael Jackson impersonation and refused to share the money with his father. So his father was trying to get money off of him. And as a result, they had an argument and they were estranged again. So that was his father. But now I understand his father has filed a civil suit against him wanting money. Come on. Now you're the father. Now you're the bereaved party. When you allowed your son to continue like this all these years, what did you do for him? But now you want somebody to pay you money. Come on, give me a break. Let me ask you a question. You're on that subway. You're a woman. You're a younger boy. You got your kids. You're on that subway, and somebody is screaming and threatening somebody. They didn't know this, but these were real threats because he had 4 attacks on subways prior to this. Why was he even allowed to ride the subway again? Why? Because of the progressive policies that we have in New York, in the city of New York. Why was he even allowed to ride the subway again after 4 attacks? You're on there, you're scared. Aren't you hoping for a Daniel Penny? Remember, Daniel Penny came there that day to do his business, to get on the subway and go wherever the heck he was going. He didn't know anything about Jordan Neely. He didn't know about his past. He didn't know anything. He wasn't looking to get himself in trouble or a fight or anything else. But what did he do? When he saw people being afraid, he stepped up and he tried to restrain the guy making threats because it was getting out of hand. 9 people testified to that. And now the guy has to face a manslaughter charge for doing what he thought was his duty. He didn't mean to kill him. He didn't want to kill him. The jury believed that. But now he's got to worry about walking around the cities of New York. If you were on that train, wouldn't you have hoped and prayed for a Daniel Penny? And what are you trying to do now? Scare other people? Scare them into acting in a situation to try to be a man? Okay, something that these progressives are trying to demean us for being men and trying to help somebody in need? We have to worry about going to jail for it or worrying about walking the streets because protesters now saying you're not welcome here and we're going to look for you and maybe your family? Is this right? Is this what it's come to? Alvin Bragg, who prosecuted this case and caused all of this, you should be ashamed of yourself. First Trump, then this. Why is this guy still on the street, Jordan Neely? Why was he allowed to go on the subway again after he's had 4 attacks on a subway? And now Daniel Penny has to suffer over it. You put him in that position, Alvin Bragg. You did it because you're a racist and you're biased. And you don't belong as the district attorney. And I hope to God that somebody gets rid of you, removes you from office. You don't belong there because you're allowing crime to run rampant in your city, and all you care about is racism and politics. And you've shown it with Donald Trump, and now you've shown it with Daniel Penny. This is what you're all about. And because of you, crime is out of control in New York City. And incidents like this are occurring because of you. You're to blame. Not solely, but you're to blame. You're adding to it with your progressive nonsense policies and your biased way of conducting your affairs and your business. You should be ashamed of yourself. And now we have a civil suit, so this is going to go on for Daniel Penny stepping up, doing the right thing as any man would do. Unfortunately for him, he was an ex-Marine, a veteran that served our country, and was taught how, by the Marines, was taught how to put somebody in a chokehold, unbeknownst to the fact that this Neely was drugs and everything else. Well, who knows what was in his system and why this happened to him? What contributed to that chokehold causing this? Who knows? Shouldn't have been on the subway. 42 arrests, 4 for violent attacks in the subway. He shouldn't have been on it. Alvin Bragg, do your job. Prosecutors in New York, do your job. And now Daniel Penny, this is not over for him because the father is trying to get money, like he tried to get out of his son when his son was impersonating Michael Jackson. Where were you? Your son has mental illness. Where were you to help him? What did you do? Did you do anything? No. Doesn't seem that way. It's pathetic. It really is. Let's get to this, this other Brian Thompson murder. Look, sad thing. A lot of people don't like healthcare companies. We understand that. A lot of people think their job is to deny claims. And look, I've been frustrated with healthcare. I'm not going to name the company. I don't want to get into all of that. I've been frustrated with it. Just about everybody I know has been frustrated with it. The premiums are ridiculously high. The coverage is not great. It's just not a good system. It's something that needs to be overhauled or reworked. I don't have the answers. And I know Congress has tried, and Obamacare tried and failed, and all this kind of stuff. Nothing has worked out. But you take a situation like this where, from what I understand, this Mangione had back surgery, was in tremendous pain. I think we'll find out as we go along whether that's what caused him to snap. Who knows? A lot of stuff is going to be coming out about this young man. But it's terribly sad. It really is. I mean, Brian Thompson, he's got kids, got a wife. I believe they're separated. But, was he solely responsible for this? Of course not. Why did he become the victim from this guy, Mangione? I don't know. But for some reason, he picked him out. He had to stalk him because he knew at the time he was coming out of his hotel, 6:45 in the morning, to go over to the conference that they were having. So I guess we'll find out as we go along. It's still kind of early in the game, even though, I got to say the police, the investigators, they did an amazing job in a week to capture this guy, or to apprehend him, I should say. But it's a very sad situation. So, comparing the two, you have a Jordan Neely, where you can understand. Let me clarify what I'm saying. You can understand rough upbringing, seeing his mother murdered, stuffed in a suitcase, mental illness, we get it. But the man had 42 arrests. And people say, well, why didn't the state help him out? What is the state supposed to do? This becomes taxpayers' burdens all the time. Where's the family? Why is the family not dealing with this? Well, you know what? Estranged. Who knows if they were married? I don't know the situation with Jordan Neely's mom and dad. But this is what happens when you have kids out of wedlock, when you don't have a responsible father. I've said this a million times. The root of all the issues, or many of the issues that we're having socially in America, is due to the breakup of the family. And people get offended. Oh, what do you mean? A mother can't? Of course a mother can raise a child, but a mother and father can do a lot better job. 2 responsible parents, you can't beat that. But we've gotten away from that. No problem. No, have kids out of wedlock. Don't worry about the father. Yeah, I mean, come on. That's not the way society was supposed to manage itself. It's not. The breakup of the family. Perfect example. Jordan Neely. Rough childhood, saw some horrible things, mental illness, 42 arrests, 4 of them violent. It ends up in a tragic death, not on purpose, by accident. You can't continue that pattern of activities in your life and not expect it to go wrong at some point. His father didn't expect something to happen at some point to his son after 42 arrests. Did he even know what was going on until he wanted money off of this kid? This young man, I should say, was 30 years old. 2 very tragic situations. Unfortunately, both took place in New York. And I want to tell you something. People don't feel good riding the subways. They really don't. They don't feel good. You know, something has to be done there. Let the police do their job. Really. This mayor, look, I have mixed emotions about Mayor Adams. I really do. I think he wants to do the right thing. He's an ex-cop, you know, but the progressive, you know, pressure on him is rough. Governor Hartswell, the same thing. What are you doing? The city is in bad shape. I have friends that live there, that live just on the outskirts of the city, say they don't want to go into Manhattan anymore. I've been there several times. I didn't experience anything, I'm going to be honest with you, when I was there. But a lot of people tell me differently. I'm not there every day. A lot of people tell me differently. Got to let the police do their job. And you got to enforce the laws. You can't let people have 42 arrests and come out on the street and continue in that activity and expect nothing to go wrong. You can't expect, you know, single family households, single parent households, I should say, you know, to continue without repercussions. It's going to happen. We got to get that under control. You know, and listen, the progressive agenda doesn't work. Not the radical progressive agenda. Progressive in certain ways, okay, but radical progressive agenda, no good. Radical conservative agenda, no good. It becomes too legalistic. We don't want that. There's got to be a compromise. Progressive, conservative, somewhere in the middle you meet. That's it. Some progressive policies we understand. You know, sometimes you got to move forward. You know, but conservative policy is the same thing. You don't want too strict, too legalistic. You know, when you get too conservative, it becomes legalistic. You don't want that. You don't want to be telling everybody you're wrong or this or that, or you're the authority on everything. Progressives do that too. You know, we got to stop that. Somewhere in the middle. 2 very sad situations, people. That's kind of my reaction to it all. What's going to happen with this Mangione? You know, his life is over. Going to do the rest of his life in prison. Let's face it, 26 years old, sad situation. I understand the family is devastated. And I do understand the family was very concerned about him. This is what I heard. Now, don't say, oh, Michael, you're saying one family wasn't concerned, the other family was. This is what's being reported. I don't know yet. But what I'm reading, as a matter of fact, the mom was trying to find him in San Francisco because he hadn't called her for a while. I don't know. More of this information is going to come out. But here's the thing. You got 2 totally different worlds with Jordan Neely and this Mangione kid. 2 totally different worlds. One come up the hard way. The other come up the easy way, but look at the tragedy. One gets killed, the other does the killing. You never know. You know, my wife and I, sometimes we look at each other and we look at some of our kids. How did that happen? Why did they think that way? And my wife says, well, maybe we should have done a better job. And nothing serious, but maybe we didn't do our job. And I say, no, we did our job to the best of our ability. But you got to understand, they're their own person. They are their own person. And sometimes they're going to think their own way. Yes, we gave them influences and a foundation as they were growing up, but they're their own person. At some point, they're going to act their own way. You know, that's just the way it goes. You can't expect them to be you or everything that you told them they're going to adhere to. You hope that basic principles, if you told them the right thing and you gave them a right foundation, that they're going to go off. And even as the individuals that they are, they're going to do something with their lives positively. That's what you hope for. But when we scratch our head and say, why does he think that way? Or why did she do that? We didn't show her that. Well, she's her own person. He's his own person. Yeah, they got our blood running through their veins, but they're their own person. They got their own mind. So, you know, you can't always hold yourself responsible for the way your kids are. But here you got 2 different worlds, okay? You got a kid that grew up the hard way, 42 arrests, mental illness, ends up in a tragedy. Inevitable, had to happen. And then you got the other one, best of everything, well-educated, terrific. good parents. And look what happened. You got the murdered and you got the murderer. Who knows? Very sad situation, people. It's sad, not only this time of year, but any time of year. The families that suffer as a result of this, just very sad. I don't know what to do, other than pray about it and hopefully that society kind of rights itself with some of these things and morality becomes a little bit more present than it was at one time. That's my take on it. My friends, how do I always leave you? The same way. Don't ever get tired of this because this is good advice. Be safe. You know what my feelings are on that. Ladies, you especially, subways. Hey, you saw what happened. Be safe. Be healthy. I still can't wait for RFK to come in and do his thing. Make our food healthier for sure. Be safe. Be healthy. God bless each and every one of you, all your families, all your communities and neighborhoods. And yes, God bless America through this holiday season. And always, I'll see you next time.